Life is unpredictable. It only took 5 years for my beloved to turn into a cold stranger. My name is Emma Johnson, and I met Michael Smith in college. He fell for me at first sight and spent months pursuing me before becoming my boyfriend. Shortly after graduation, we got married in a small ceremony with family and friends, exchanging vows and signing the marriage certificate. The year after our wedding, before my in-laws could even mention kids, I got pregnant. I gave birth to a healthy baby boy after a smooth pregnancy. Our life seemed perfect, no marital disputes, no conflicts with in-laws, no prenatal anxiety. Michael doted on me like I was his treasure, just as he'd promised, both before and after marriage. Meanwhile, his career skyrocketed. Within a few years, he became the youngest executive at his tech firm. I happily stepped back to focus on motherhood, devoting myself to raising our son. With a comfortable life, a loving husband, and a bright child, even my best friend joked that I'd landed the rom-com leading lady role. We were the high school sweethearts to marriage poster couple in our friend group. That's why I never saw it coming, the day I'd discover my husband was having an affair. If life were a movie, mine had been a cozy rom-com. So how did it suddenly turn into a tragedy? The discovery was a cruel accident. One sunny weekend, while at the amusement park with our son, I remembered Michael's grumpy face that morning when he dragged himself to work. Wanting to cheer him up, I opened the Uber Eats app to order his favorite drink, iced vanilla latte with whipped cream, half sweet, light ice. The only problem with iced lattes? If they sit too long, the cream melts and turns the drink cloyingly sweet, something Michael hates. To make sure he'd be in the office when it arrived, I decided to check his schedule via his assistant. I meant to message his assistant, Lisa, on WhatsApp, but a toddler darting past bumped my arm, and I accidentally clicked on Lisa's profile instead. That's when I saw her latest Instagram story, posted 2 minutes earlier, a photo of 2 iced lattes clinking together. One hand holding a cup was small and manicured, definitely a woman's. The other was large, with long fingers and a silver wedding band identical to mine. The caption read, "First fall latte with my favorite coworker." My blood ran cold, yet my head felt like it was on fire. A comment popped up, "Lisa, this isn't just a latte, it's straight up couple goals." Moments later, the story vanished. Ah, I thought numbly, she forgot to set privacy settings. No wonder they felt bold enough to flaunt it, 2 married people, sneaking around right under my nose. Funny enough, today would have been the day I filed for divorce in my past life, after a month of silent suffering. At first, I refused to believe it. How could the man who'd seemed so devoted cheat? And with his assistant? Didn't they say even rabbits don't eat grass near their own burrow? I made excuses for him at first, maybe it's just a friendly gesture? A work bonding thing? But the image of their hands together wouldn't leave my mind. Was he framed? I wondered. Could this be some soap opera level setup? But as that old Sherlock Holmes quote goes, once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, no matter how improbable, must be the truth. Like any woman in my position, I was torn between needing the truth and dreading it. But as more evidence piled up, the texts, shared lunches, secret meetings, I couldn't deny it anymore. For a month, I spiraled. Where did I go wrong? Was it my fault? Is this just physical, or does he love her? Can I forgive him if he apologizes? I considered staying. After all, Michael had always been the perfect husband. Maybe it was a one-time mistake? We could go to therapy, rebuild trust, right? But I couldn't sleep. I'd lie awake, fighting back tears. Every time he said he had late meetings, I'd imagine the worst. In the end, I chose to leave. I couldn't guarantee his loyalty, but I could protect my dignity. They say once a cheater, always a cheater. I didn't want us to become bitter strangers through years of resentment. Better to walk away and preserve the memories of what we'd once had. I thought, if I leave now, he'll realize what he's lost. He'll suffer, regret it for the rest of his life. But then I woke up, reborn, back to the day before the latte incident. And I wanted to slap my past self silly, you fool. Just because everyone called you the perfect couple doesn't mean you're in a goddamn movie. In rom-coms, the heroine always has a grand gesture reunion or a hot billionaire waiting in the wings. In real life? After leaving a cheating husband, I'd have nothing but a custody battle for my son and a mountain of bills. So yes, I'll still leave him. But this time, I'm not playing the noble martyr. Reborn or not, I've learned one thing. In a marriage, the one who walks away without fighting for what's theirs isn't a poet, they're a damn fool. I deleted the draft message that read "Let's get a divorce," the one I'd almost sent, and replaced it with a saccharine text. "Honey, I made your favorite garlic butter shrimp tonight. When will you be home?" Of course I hadn't cooked any shrimp. What woman who's just decided to leave her cheating husband would bother cooking for him? I sent it knowing perfectly well he couldn't come home. Sure enough, Michael's ringtone soon cut through the silence. I strolled to the kitchen, turned on the range hood and faucet to mimic the sounds of cooking, then answered sweetly, "Hi baby, what time will you be here?" "Dinner's almost ready." His voice was warm but tinged with surprise. "You've been saying you haven't felt like cooking lately. What changed?" I pouted playfully, "Just didn't want you eating takeout every night." Relieved by my cheerful tone, so different from my recent melancholy, Michael sounded pleased, then hesitant. "I've missed your garlic butter shrimp. But we have a big client tonight, and we're still in talks. I'll probably have to stay for dinner." As expected. I feigned disappointment but kept it soft. "Too bad. I was so excited today. Guess I'll enjoy the meal alone. Be careful tonight, don't drink too much, drive safe, and come home soon." He did have a client. Until the client cancelled. The business dinner had become a candlelit date with Lisa. How did I know? In my past life, after I texted him about the divorce, he'd rushed home in a panic, forgetting to wipe off the half-lipstick mark on his collar. I'd thought I could leave calmly, but that damn lipstick mark shattered my resolve. Were they so desperate to be together they couldn't wait a few hours? We'd screamed at each other, hurling accusations, and ended up at the courthouse the next day to sign the divorce papers. I'd naively hoped he'd regret it, realize his mistake, and beg me to come back. After all, we'd had something beautiful. A year later, I got his wedding invitation. After hanging up, I treated myself to a Boston lobster roll I'd been skipping for months. While waiting for delivery, I ordered 2 tiny security cameras on Amazon, one for the living room, one for the balcony. Toddlers are non-stop at 4 years old. I can't watch him 24/7. Cameras in his usual play areas? Totally normal. Michael came home before 10 p.m., reeking of wine. I acted surprised. "Thought you were with the client? Why so early?" He pulled me close, grinning. "After you called, I couldn't focus. Wrapped things up and rushed back." I stayed silent, not because I had nothing to say, but because his touch disgusted me. "Sorry, first day of being reborn. Still rusty at hiding my revulsion." His eyes lit up. "Since the kid's at my parents' tonight, maybe we could." His hand slid to my shoulder, voice trailing into suggestion. After dinner with his mistress, he still had the nerve to come home and hit on me. No wonder I never suspected them before. I swatted his hand away, feigning irritation. "Cut it out. Go shower first, I need to talk to you about something serious." When he emerged, I greeted him. "Jamie's been throwing tantrums lately, he wants to go to Disney World. I thought he was too little before, but he's 4 now. Maybe we should take him before it gets cold. What do you think?" Michael frowned. "Honey, you know how busy we get at year-end." I rolled my eyes. "I know you're swamped. I'll take him alone. But help me plan the itinerary, okay?" I pulled him onto the couch and bombarded him with tabs from Expedia, Airbnb, and TripAdvisor, attractions, hotels, package deals. He barely stayed awake, nodding robotically before dozing off mid-conversation. I tucked him in, waited for his breathing to steady, then whispered his name. No response. I grabbed his phone and unlocked it. Ironically, the passcode was still my birthday. Only a lovesick fool cares about the details of her husband's affair. My love died in the past life. Now I'm Emma 2.0, evidence collector, revenge planner. I scanned their messages quickly, hunting for proof. But their texts were all business, brief, professional, no trace of flirtation. Of course. They spent 8 hours together daily, why risk texting? Then I clicked on Lisa's Instagram. Bingo. Her feed was a treasure trove of posts I'd never seen, probably seen by only him exclusives. Nearly everyone had his likes or comments. Even that damned latte post was still there. minus others' comments but with his cryptic reply. Yeah, sweet indeed. So desperate to flaunt their love, yet too cowardly to go public. Pathetic. I snapped photos with my phone, another piece of evidence, not that I was touched by their love story. The real jackpot? His Venmo and PayPal transactions. From quarterly holiday gifts to weekly coffee runs, over 2 years, he'd sent Lisa over $10,000. The notes were nauseatingly affectionate. For my favorite coworker, thinking of you, our little secret. Perfect. I screenshot every transaction, grateful for the cheesy messages, proof enough these weren't professional reimbursements. Afraid he'd wake up, I erased my tracks and returned his phone. Thinking of my past self, who'd left empty-handed, I laughed bitterly. Fine. 2 lifetimes of betrayal, might as well settle the score in one go. Wait. Does that mean he's cheated on me twice across 2 lives? Nope, can't dwell on that. I slapped on a sleep mask and cursed myself to sleep. Where are you, honey? Michael's voice on the phone was tense. Understandable. Anyone would panic getting a bank alert about $30,000 charged to their credit card. We're at JFK Airport with Jamie. First stop, Orlando, gonna hit Disney World like he's been begging for. I kept my tone soft. He sounded shocked. Why so sudden? You didn't tell me. I feigned shyness. Planning trips solo is stressful with a kid. I thought a small tour group would be safer. The agent talked me into a 28-day Southeast U.S. luxury family tour, paid today, and guess what? Departures today. Been rushing to pack, and I knew you had that big meeting, so I didn't want to bother you. When he stayed silent, I prodded, Michael? You okay? He sighed, annoyed, all our savings are with you. Why use the credit card? I thought it was fraud. Realizing he'd snapped, he added, just worrying about paying it off, that's all. I injected a hint of apology. My 401k withdrawal hasn't cleared yet, and the tour cost more than I saved. Your quarterly bonus is coming, right? We can pay it off then, better to keep cash on hand. He had no retort, just mumbled be safe before hanging up. Mommy, I want the strawberry cake. Jamie pressed his nose against the airport bakery's glass, pointing at a Minnie Mouse-shaped pastry. I smiled, sure, sweetie. But no wasting, okay? In my past life, discovering Michael's affair felt like a knife to the heart. I'd thought those sleepless, sobbing nights were the worst pain possible. When I'd left, I'd wanted to punish him by walking away with nothing. But losing the one you love is only a punishment if they love you back. To Michael, I was just the old ball and chain. He probably shed 2 tears tops. Life hit me hard. My salary barely covered groceries and rent, even Jamie's preschool fees meant dipping into my parents' savings. While other kids took piano and ballet, I'd agonize over a $20 t-shirt. While they skied in Colorado or vacationed in Hawaii, I couldn't afford a local zoo trip. Strawberries? Avocados? Forget it, every splurge earned a lecture from my parents about irresponsible spending. I knew they didn't mean it. They were just trying to help. I had no one to blame but myself. Thank God for second chances. 28 days flew by. It was bliss to relax and just play, especially knowing Michael was footing the bill. He must have been relaxing too. According to the Nest cameras, he'd brought Lisa home multiple times. They'd gotten creative in front of our wedding photo. Their conversation? Pure cringe. Your wife actually cleans up nice in photos, Lisa cooed. Yeah, but post-kids? She's a mess. I barely remember what she used to look like, Michael snorted. Lisa pouted, but you're always bragging about her homemaking skills. Typical man, wanting the perfect wife and the exciting mistress. He smirked, jealous? You're the one who's independent and ambitious, way more my type. Lisa giggled, hypothetically, if you'd met us both at the same time, who would you choose? Michael pulled her close, stop teasing. You'd never leave your husband anyway. In my past life, I'd fled the marriage without digging for answers. Thanks to those cameras, I got a front row seat to their disgusting love story. Turns out, Lisa was his first hire as a manager. Mutual admiration turned into late-night work dinners, then a drunken hookup. If I'd been there, I'd have applauded their soulmate act, while recording it for evidence. Now? I'll just compile every clip, hire a shark lawyer, and bleed him dry. As soon as our plane landed, I called Michael, "We're back. Come home early, we need to talk." By the time I arrived, the full-service movers I'd hired were already waiting. For the premium price, they'd promised zero lifting required, and delivered. By noon, every piece of furniture was gone. I even had time to drop Jamie at my parents' place, get a manicure, and doll myself up. You forgot what I used to look like. Let me jog your memory. Karma's funny that way. Shortly after, keys jingled in the lock. "Honey, I'm home," Michael called, stepping inside. His smile faded as he took in the empty living room. I didn't mince words. "Michael, I want a divorce." He froze, staring at me like I'd grown two heads. "What? Is this about me not picking you up? I've been swamped at work, can't you cut me some slack?" I laughed coldly. Swamped with work, or swamped with Lisa? I saw the footage from the security cameras. Michael paled, instantly switching to groveling mode. "Baby, it was a mistake. At that company party, I was drunk, she walked me home, and I thought she was you." Bullshit. One mistake I might buy. But 2 years of mistakes? I installed cameras for Jamie's safety before we left. Funny how they caught everything while we were gone. He collapsed onto the couch, begging. I swear it meant nothing. "I love you, please, let's go to therapy. I'll cut her off today, I promise." I shoved him away. I remembered that company party, the night Jamie spiked a 103 degrees Fahrenheit fever, and I'd told Michael to stay and celebrate. While I'd sat in the ER alone, he'd been screwing his assistant in our bed. "Save it. My lawyer will send the divorce papers. You can argue your love in court." I turned and walked out, leaving his sobs behind. The divorce process with Michael was anything but smooth. In front of the lawyer, he turned combative, shouting that we'd never split up and accusing her of breaking up happy families for a quick buck. He even skipped work for the first time in years to wait with me outside Jamie's preschool. Surrounded by other parents, I couldn't make a scene, for decency's sake. He carried Jamie while I silently followed him back to the house I'd just moved out of. Instead of unlocking the door, he rang the bell. The scent of meatloaf hit me as the door opened. Jamie squealed and leaped into his grandma's arms. "Nana. I missed you." Before I could protest, my mother-in-law pulled me inside. "Emma, come eat. We've been waiting." At the table, Mom and Michael chatted brightly, while Jamie babbled about his day. It was like stepping into a rerun of our happy family past. After dessert, Mom cleared her throat. "Michael told me about your disagreement. He knows he messed up." Michael nodded, wearing his best shame-faced puppy look. I scoffed. "If he knows he messed up, he'll sign the papers." Mom frowned. "Marriage is a lifelong commitment, especially with a child. Everyone makes mistakes." "Mistakes? Like cheating with his assistant? Would you eat spoiled meat, or just throw it out and cook a fresh meal? How dare you?" She slammed the table, outraged. "If you divorce, fine. But I won't let you take my grandson away." Ah, so this was about custody. In my past life, Michael had barely fought for Jamie. "Just let me leave with the kid." Mom had doted on Jamie publicly but visited only twice after the divorce. Once Michael remarried and his new wife got pregnant, she'd stopped calling entirely. I'd never considered custody battles in my revenge plan. A high-earning CEO father versus a stay-at-home mom with no income? Even without a lawyer, I knew the odds were stacked against me. Michael leaned in, voice gentle. "Jamie deserves stability. Let's stop this drama, okay? Think about what's best for him." A quote popped into my head. When parents divorce, mothers fight for the child, fathers fight to keep mothers from fighting for money. But what's the point of revenge if I lose my son? I swallowed. I need time to think. 2 weeks of thinking passed. Michael assumed I'd cave, choose between a lowball settlement or dropping the divorce. He sent occasional "How's Jamie?" texts but stayed off my back. Until my lawyer reappeared at his office. "Michael Sked, you lawyers only care about billable hours. If you'd talked her out of this." "My client asked me to remind you," my lawyer interrupted. "She's decided to proceed with the divorce." Michael sneered. "Does she even know how much your fees are? A jobless single mom can't afford this." Lawyer smiled thinly. "Careful, Mr. Smith. Jobless is slander. My client is gainfully employed. True. My parents had just bought a 7-Eleven franchise and hired me as manager. So now I had a job. Con, $5,000 per month salary. Pro, bosses who love me, zero risk of layoffs. Michael's face soured as he read my employment contract. No more using custody to pressure me, the lawyer had warned him. In contested custody cases, mothers with stable income often prevail. Michael dropped the loving husband act, zeroing in on assets. As the breadwinner, he refused to accept a near-zero settlement. We owned 2 properties, a downtown condo and a suburban townhouse. The townhouse was our starter home, bought with both families' savings. Too far from his office, so I'd saved up to buy the condo, renting out the townhouse to cover its mortgage. Of course she's thrifty, he'd bragged to friends. My wife manages every penny. Now, demanding all savings, the townhouse, and half the condo's sale price for child support? He exploded, I earned every dollar. You did nothing but spend it. My lawyer stayed calm, as the at-fault party, you're legally required to compensate the non-cheating spouse. Michael scoffed, compensate doesn't mean bankruptcy. Lawyer slid over his Venmo history, these payments to Lisa are marital assets. My client can sue to recover them. Michael, we're trying to keep this civil, I said. When he realized I'd sue Lisa for the $10,000 if he stalled, he relented, fine. She can have the savings and townhouse. I keep the condo, and pay child support monthly. My lawyer whispered that monthly payments were standard, better to focus on the amount. But I knew how this played out. All you care about is money, no wonder our marriage failed. I have a new family now, can't afford your lifestyle. Missed the deadline? Tough luck. Child support was his duty, not a favor. I refused to let him weaponize it. Sell the condo, I told the lawyer. The longer it appreciates, the more he gains. I want it liquidated. Lawyer hesitated, but you could keep it. He and Lisa fucked on that couch, I said bluntly. It's contaminated. A good client doesn't make their lawyer's job harder than necessary. I unblocked Michael's number and sent him a high-res screenshot from the Nest camera. Him and Lisa, mid-dash workout, faces clearly visible. Grainy, but effective. Sign the papers, or we go to court, I added. First I'll sue Lisa, then you. Jury's gonna love this evidence. Sure, a judge might not award me all the assets in a trial. But once these photos hit the legal record, would Michael and Lisa still have jobs? A reputation? A life in this city? He grumbled about losing half his equity, but signed. On our divorce day, it rained. As I walked out, Michael called after me, Emma. I swear, you're the only one I've ever loved. What happened with Lisa was a mistake, I'll never marry her. I believe you, I smiled sweetly. No man wants a wife who cheats on her husband. In my past life, his second wife wasn't Lisa. His hopeful expression died at my implication. I wondered, would he even care if he hadn't lost so much? Next up, Lisa. I'd always scoffed at wife versus mistress catfights. The real culprit is the cheating husband. But in this trio, I lost a marriage, Michael lost money, why should she walk away clean? She'd known he was married. If she wanted to play in the mud, she'd lie in it. Michael's a pragmatist, why else remarry so fast in my past life? Now divorced and broke, his penitent act meant nothing. Stress makes people desperate, though. The downtown condo sold quickly, I undercut market price. After mortgage payoff, his half wasn't enough for a new place. So when he wanted to see Lisa, they had to use hotels. Thank God for Find My iPhone. Our old iPad, once for my Netflix binges, later for Jamie's cartoons, still used Michael's Apple ID. He never guessed his ex-wife would track his location through it. Every time his phone pinged a hotel, I sent a PI. Days later, we had photos of them entering rooms together. One day, my PI visited a repair shop. Boss, I deleted photos by accident. Can you recover them? The owner looked up, Lisa's husband, Mark. Lisa had barely interacted with me. Our only connection was a long-ago team-building event where I'd added both spouses for carpool updates. I kept meticulous notes. Mark, Lisa's hubby, Cell Repair Pro, had sat dormant in my contacts for years. Mark nodded, used to such requests, and got to work. When the PI claimed some photos are missing, Mark glanced over and froze. He snatched the phone, scrolling furiously. Where were these taken? He snapped. XX Hotel, the PI feigned confusion. Weird, I don't know those people. Must have pocket dialed. Mark's pale rage and clenched fists said it all. The PI paid and left quietly, the silence more damning than words. My revenge was done. After binging Succession, I even bought a Logan Roy-style cigar cutter. Leave a path for the defeated, Sun Tzu said. I'd taken what I needed, their shame was collateral, not my goal. Lisa had never flaunted her affair, so I wouldn't rub her face in it. I'd just helped her husband find the truth. What he did next was up to him. Turns out, Mark was the vengeful type. One day, he spammed me with photos, Michael and Lisa, naked and terrified, clutching hotel sheets. I replied politely, divorced. Not my problem. I even sent Michael a fruit basket in the hospital, filled with kiwi and durian, his least favorites. Petty? Maybe. Satisfying? Absolutely. Lisa got divorced soon after. Word didn't spread yet, I guessed they'd paid Mark off. But Michael's condo money was gone. Middle-aged, broke, single, karma's a bitch. Though Mark and I stayed quiet, office gossip ran wild. A CEO and his assistant, both newly single? Colleagues whispered, connected dots. In their industry's tight circle, the truth would out. Lisa wanted to marry Michael, he wanted me back. What better way to kill rumors than reuniting for the kids? During a visitation, he rambled about Lisa setting him up, blackmail, even a honey trap with her husband. His regret seemed more urgent now. Think of Jamie, he pleaded. Kids need a real family. Did I look like a dumpster? I just got back to work, Michael. Too busy for distractions, I smiled. Let them stew in their mess. They'd praised each other's ambition once, now they could cling to each other, broke and judged. Michael forgot I'd once been a rising star too. I'd quit my career for motherhood, defined by good wife instead of good CEO. I used to think dignity mattered more than money. Now I know, dignity runs on dollars. If you can't have love, take the cash. With money in the bank, a clear path ahead, and my son by my side? My future's already brighter than theirs ever will be.